Welcome back to The Explainer. So glad you're here. Today, we're diving deep into a seriously fascinating concept from Jon Antonucci's work, specifically focusing on Chapter 19 of Servant-Minded Leadership. Now, I am absolutely thrilled to get into this with you because it's the kind of material that totally flips how we think about managing, empowering, and, well, actually leading people. But hey, to kick things off, and just to get our gears turning, I've got a quick riddle for you. Let's test your instincts. Okay. Picture this scenario. It's straight out of Chapter 19. You've got 3 frogs sitting right there on a log. Now, one of those frogs decides to jump off. The question is, how many frogs are left on the log? I'll let you think about that for just a second.
Got your answer? The answer is 3. Wait, why 3? Because deciding to jump, well, it isn't actually jumping. It's literally just a decision in your head. And you know, that simple, almost painfully obvious little distinction, that hits the nail on the head. That's exactly what separates the absolute best leaders from the folks who, frankly, just like to talk about leadership. Intention has got to transition into action. If you just sit there and decide to do something, but you're waiting for that perfect, magical moment to actually move your feet, you're still just sitting on the log.
All right, let's get into Section 1, the origins of serving.
So, before we really get into the action-taking part, we kind of need to set the foundation. A lot of people out there, they hear servant leadership and they think, oh, it's just another trendy, modern corporate buzzword, right? But no, actually scratch that. It's ancient. We're talking all the way back to 340 BC, where Aristotle was making the case that a leader's true role is creating an environment where people can reach their full potential. Fast forward a bit to AD 20, and Jesus of Nazareth models this profound idea that the greatest among you is going to be a servant. Then you jump to 1970, and Robert Greenleaf brings it right into the modern business mainstream with his famous essay, The Servant as Leader. The point here? This core message has literally survived millennia. Leadership that genuinely serves the best interest of its followers is, hands down, the most positively impactful approach on the planet. It's just a beautiful, deeply noble concept.
Which brings us to Section 2, the ROI leadership trap.
Okay, so that noble, ancient concept, yeah, it's hit a massive roadblock in today's world. To show you exactly what I mean, Antonucci uses this absolutely fantastic analogy. Imagine asking a good friend to come over and help you move a bunch of heavy furniture. If you tell them, hey, I'll grab a $5 pizza and some beers, what happens? It's fun, it's relational, it's a genuine act of service between friends. But what if you look at that exact same friend and say, I will pay you $500 to move my couch? Bam! Suddenly the entire vibe shifts. It's a strict business transaction now. The joking stops, right? Now it's purely about getting the job done fast to earn the cash. Injecting money and these heavy transactional expectations, it completely kills the authentic spirit of service. It just zaps it right out of the room.
And our source text points this out brilliantly. It says, the problem is that the ROI has become the focus. In our attempts to make things better, we have systematically made things worse. You see, when these big companies drop thousands on fancy leadership training programs, they demand a return on investment. They want higher retention, they want fatter profit margins. And because of that intense laser focus on the bottom line, the whole conversation shifted. It shifted away from actually serving the human being in front of you to just figuring out how to squeeze more productivity out of them. The whole thing just became a transaction.
So, let's look at Section 3, the servant-minded shift.
The big question is, how on earth do we rescue this philosophy from being just another cold, calculated corporate transaction? Well, it turns out we do it by adding one single, incredibly powerful word to the equation. Think about the concept of servant-minded leadership, or SML. By simply adding the word minded, we completely shift the focus back to where it belongs, the human element. It's like putting a literal heart right back inside the light bulb of your organization. We are actively putting love, empathy, and the actual people back at the center of the equation instead of just staring at a spreadsheet.
But let's get real for a second. What does being minded actually mean on a Tuesday morning? The dictionary definition is simple enough. It means to be conscious or aware of something, but in practice, oh, it is profound. Servant-minded leadership isn't some quick-fix, 6-week corporate boot camp that you just get a certificate for and forget about. No way. It is an active, deeply conscious, daily engagement with your team. It's about being present. It's about authentically caring for the people you lead, rather than just deploying a clever strategy to get them to work overtime.
So, the absolute crucial point here is how we're actually viewing our team members. The text introduces this really brilliant concept, treating people as proper nouns. Now, think back to elementary school for a sec. A noun is just a general person, place, or thing, right? But a proper noun, that is a specific, completely unique entity. You can't just see your team as employees or human resources. Those are general nouns. You've got to see them as specific, complex individuals. And that means cultivating a genuine desire to facilitate their absolute best. It means practicing active listening, like actually paying attention when they speak. It means remembering the little personal details, their birthdays, what their kids are up to, and maybe most importantly, it means embracing their unique ways of working, even if it's not exactly the way you would do it.
Let's move into Section 4, from intention to action.
All right, here's where the rubber meets the road. Having the intention to be a servant-minded leader, treating people as proper nouns, having a good heart, look, that's all fantastic. But intentions, those are literally just the starting line. Now we have to transition from intention to action. And one of the most practical, actionable steps the author recommends is finding a mentor. And I don't mean a transactional business coach you pay $1,000 a month for, a quick fix. I mean a true mentor. To find one, you need to ask yourself 3 sequential questions. 1, who do I know that I genuinely respect? 2, who among those people has actually accomplished what I want to achieve? You know, they've got to have walked the path before you. And 3, who is willing to genuinely invest in my personal success? A mentor gives you that critical third-party perspective. Plus, this is where the power of public declarations comes into play. When you actually voice your commitments out loud to a mentor, you are instantly raising the stakes on yourself. You're bringing accountability right to the forefront.
Once you've got that solid guidance in place, you've got to set some goals. And Chapter 19 gives us this highly effective, seriously useful framework for this, setting TNT goals. Let me break that down. T stands for time-oriented. You must have a strict deadline. None of this vague, oh, I'll get to it someday stuff. N stands for narrow. The goal has to be incredibly specific, targeted, and measurable. Think, I will have one dedicated one-on-one meeting every Thursday, rather than, I'll talk to my team more. And the last T stands for temperate, meaning it should be challenging, sure, but entirely realistic. Setting TNT goals absolutely forces you to prioritize action over perfection. You're not sitting around waiting for some grandiose, flawless leadership plan to fall from the sky. You are building an actionable, maybe a little messy, but very real roadmap that holds your feet to the fire today.
Now for Section 5, drawing the line in the sand.
Everything we've talked about, all this preparation, it all leads up to this moment. It leads to drawing a hard line in the sand and making a real, tangible commitment to do whatever it takes. The author drops this incredibly powerful thesis. Commitments don't change lives. Actions do. I mean, wow. A true servant-minded leader steps way past mere intention. They're the ones showing up early. They're the ones staying late. They are literally doing whatever it takes, whatever needs to be done for the sake of their team. They don't just sit in a conference room and talk about being a good leader. They roll up their sleeves and they do the hard work, day in and day out, especially in those tiny, unglamorous moments that nobody else sees.
Which brings us full circle, right back to our frogs. You know the ancient history now, you've seen the modern trap of transactional leadership, and you've got the actual tools in your tool belt, from making those bold public declarations to setting your TNT goals. You know what it takes to become a true servant-minded leader? The decision is sitting right in front of you. But remember our riddle, deciding to jump isn't jumping. So I'm going to leave you with this one final thought to chew on today. Are you going to draw that line in the sand and make your move? Or are you just going to sit on the log? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this sparked some powerful new ideas for your own leadership journey. Until next time, keep learning and keep taking action.